bottles, the carbonated water.
It's getting kind of
And
dizzy.
Perrier's gas is getting low, and so is San Pellegrino's. So, as you notice, Gerolsteiner is very strong with all that carbon, and their gas is so great that they have to depressurize it to get it out so it doesn't explode. So they're selling their gas to some other bottlers.
It's no good, you're saying? No?
I didn't say it's no good.
Oh.
I said that Perrier and San Pellegrino's wells are getting low in carbon. So they're buying carbon from the well that Gerolsteiner uses.
Great.
So that's why Perrier and Pellegrino will go up and down in pressure, depending upon how much gas they're affording to put in their water. All right, I'm going to start over here. I'm going to start with questions. Well, first of all, I usually start with something I've been experimenting with. For the last 6 months, I've been experimenting with using honey to get rid of wrinkles and lines. Before that, I spent a year using raw meat. And I found that the raw meat helps get rid of bruising and soreness easier, and does help get rid of wrinkles. Applying it to your skin topically, yes. When I was in Asia the last time, I got back about 4 weeks ago, it wasn't convenient to use meat because I was with a girlfriend. So I started putting honey, and the honey started breaking down. I don't know if anybody remembers how deep my lines were here.
Let me see. Can I see?
Yeah, and this is only about 2 weeks off and on of using it on my forehead. And it just peels the layers away. It's very thick. And the comb honey is the best to do it. For some reason, the comb honey. Yeah, the honey in the comb seems to be more active.
How do we do that?
Well, James carries it.
I'm here.
James carries it. There you are. James carries it. And I buy mine from James. And he gets his from Pacific, Honey Pacifica.
Yeah, John is the only person I know that cuts it, and doesn't heat it at all. So. And Aajonus is right. You're guaranteed, obviously, to know the honey's not been heated. It's still in the film.
And it does work. Even if it hasn't heated, it still works better than the honey that's been extracted already. There's something that's a little bit more powerful about the honey.
About how much faster or how much more effective
Well, it's your neck. Does anybody? I had him do it for what? 10 days, 2 weeks?
It's about 1.5 weeks.
1.5 weeks. If anybody saw his neck 2 weeks ago, it looked like a lizard's neck. Lots and lots of layers. And this is just, 10 days. Pretty amazing.
It does look better with it, by the way.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal changes. Well, what I suggested that you do, because you have the Thailand enzyme in the saliva, put saliva on it first, and then just dip your finger in and rub it in.
Want to sit over here?
And the saliva helps break it down. Keep it on all night. You've got beautiful skin. What are you worried about? Could bring some circulation, improve your circulation in your skin. Okay, I'm going to start with Q&A. So since now you're beginning, you have a question. Okay. You single one. Okay. You have a question.
My question is, about a month ago, I couldn't look at beef.
You couldn't what?
I look at beef.
I'm going to repeat the question.
I've been on this diet for 9 months, and all of a sudden, beef looked like, yuck, I can't eat it. Why is that?
Okay. She asked, she'd been on the diet about 9 months, and all of a sudden she can't stand red meat again, beef. And she asked why. And usually it's because the blood's getting too acidic when you eat the red meat. So you need to start eating it with white meat. So white meat with the red meat will change that.
At the same time?
At the same time. Okay. Especially seafood, fish will allow it to alter your desire quicker than eating chicken or any other kind of fowl.
Isn't it also sometimes people not drinking enough green juice to balance out the alcohol?
Yeah, are you drinking your green juice?
I'm not every single day. I'm eating it like five days a week.
That should be fine. It usually just the acidity of the red meat. Sometimes what will happen is when you have a lot of red meat, the body will start detoxing the liver. When that happens, the blood gets overly acidic. And it'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. For some reason, even though liver is very concentrated in protein, it doesn't happen with liver. But if it's happening, you need some seafood. Yeah. It could be oysters. It can be, anything that's wild ocean caught.
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay, now, a lot of scallops are wild, and some of them are wild caught. But when a shellfish is farmed, it only means that they put a fence in the ocean. Government lets them put a fence out there, and nobody's allowed in that area. So they're not feeding the fish anything unusual. The sea creatures, the oysters, clams, scallops, they're still eating right from the ocean. So those are not the bad farm foods. The bad farms fish are ones where they dig a lake and they feed them alfalfa pellets and anything that is thrown away from some kind of a processing plant.
And worse yet, the ones up in the Vancouver area, Seattle now, for salmon fishing, salmon farming, if they're done in the wild estuaries and whatnot, and they're contaminating the wild-caught salmon out there. That's what's going on. So they're actually now doing man-feeding salmon in fish in hatcheries in the ocean. Do you know that?
Well, they're not really allowed to do that, but what they're doing is they're letting them escape, and they're breeding with the wild ones, and that's causing the problem.
No, they've allowed them to feed man-made food to the contained salmon in these pens with just the water,
And it's flowing out to the rest.
Absolutely. Just read it last week.
Well, I think that they were proposing that, but the last time I read that they weren't allowed to do it yet, but that the fish were escaping.
Yeah.
They were jumping over and breeding, causing the problem. They were getting all kinds of diseases. Okay, question. Okay, your question. Question?
A little bit. When I'm eating meat, I'm noticing that I'm getting pains in my liver, which is not unusual, but I'm also getting quite a bit of a buzz in my head.
Okay. That's a high. Kind of buzz.
Headache.
Oh, a headache.
Yeah.
Then your blood's getting very acidic. You need to eat more green juice. How much are you drinking a day?
Well, we were doing it almost 5 days a week, but recently we cut back.
Then you need to do, you need to celery your main juice. So it's got to be at least 80%. And if you're doing any kind of a strong herb, then no more than 5% total of your juice. Otherwise, you're going to force detoxification, uncomfortable detoxification. So in a situation where you've got a headache, whenever you eat the meat, then you need to alkalinize the blood more and eat things like 80% celery, 10% cucumber, or 10% head lettuce, and like 5 to 10% parsley. You can even use 5% zucchini in there. If you're using head lettuce, the old iceberg lettuce that they said has no value, like they said in the book, it's the only food that we eat that has opiates in it. So get high. Opiates. It's the only food that we eat that has opiates in it, natural opiates, to help you build your own head lettuce, yeah. It's the only food that we have that allows you to build your own tranquilizers and painkillers.
Is it 10%?
10%.
So we should eat lettuce, you say?
Head lettuce. You're right. Iceberg lettuce.
Iceberg lettuce.
Iceberg is the only one that
There's going to be a run on head lettuce at all the stores after we leave.
So we juice it?
What are we supposed to do with it?
Well, the head lettuce you can eat.
How much of it?
If you put it in your juice, about 10% of your juice, if you want to eat it, half a head of lettuce a day. But the last thing before you go to bed.
But one thing is that they don't come organic. I've only seen conventional.
Well, when you can get it organic, eat it. Don't get it on inorganic.
Why the last thing was with the vet?
Because the fibers will cause over-alkalinity in the system. So if any meat comes behind your food, comes behind the lettuce, it won't digest properly.
So this.
So I don't like people to eat whole vegetables for that reason. So if it's the last thing before you go to bed, you're not going to eat for another 5 hours. So the meat's not going to catch up with it. And it'll be acid again, unless you're eating it too often, vegetables too often.
You would have with a milk drink, a colostrum, and then have lettuce? No, it doesn't work. I'll have to call you tomorrow and ask you.
It's 7:01.
Yeah.
Okay, is that clear for you? Okay, do you have a question now? Oh, this is our host. Thank you.
Thank all of you. Wow.
On the next, thank you. The next potluck will be at my place, the yearly My Place on September 11th.
Same time.
Always same time. If anybody doesn't know my mailing list and they want emailing list and they want to be, I'm at optimal, OPTIMAL, at earthlink.com. Email me and say you want to be on the mailing list and I'll put you on.
Is it earthlink.com or earthlink.net?
It's .net.
Oh, yes it is. .net. You're right. Thank you. Earthlink.net. You wouldn't have gotten me. It would have bounced. Okay, good.
Yeah, so I changed my question from what I was talking about earlier. I wanted to know about menopause. The last month, I've been doing this for 6 months, and in the last month, I've noticed post-menstrual cycle, I've noticed anxiety, adrenaline rushes, and hot flashes, and very mild, but I notice my body heating up, and how is how I'm doing going to enhance what say?
Well, I only have one client right
Don't
here.
put me out there.
Only one client that didn't make it through menopause easily. And I probably had about probably 300 women that have gone through menopause who did the diet from anywhere from
What I want to
40
mention.
to 100%. And most of them usually got through it in 3 months.
My mother went through started at 50, I'm 52, and didn't lose her very to 60.
Can what?
And didn't lose her very to 60. But I'm noticing an increase in an adrenaline surge, which is manifesting in symptoms of anxiety, and I notice now my body.
You need more green juice. System's getting too acidic.
And I'm getting a lot of, I went to low green juice and I get very gastric too.
Yeah, I know this. See, you got to get the blood alkaline and not get the intestines to alkaline.
But I'm gonna.
That's the fine line.
I want to mention.
That means you're going to have some discomfort. But when you're having the hot flashes, it's best to use cucumber and celery in your juice. Let's say 10% cucumber. Always a peeled cucumber. Even if it's organic, when it's for hot flashes and you're trying to cool the body.
I use a lot of parsley.
You're using too much parsley?
I use one bunch of parsley to one celery, but now the celery is
heat up the body.
Yeah, parsley
will heat the body.
It'll also irritate your nervous system
if you take too much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The celery bunches are so little right now.
They don't want to do that. It will heat the body.
That's too much parsley.
And the filter on the green juice, you want to get as much fiber out of it as possible.
You want a little bit of that fiber going into it.
I want to mention.
As long as it's from the juice, you're not going to be having a problem.
Oh, I want to
Kathy?
with something that you're saying. Oh, I was in a.
Don't interrupt. Wait till we finish.
Okay.
Thank you. So, no, it's good to have a little bit of that fiber in there. You know, if you've been on the diet as long as I have, it's not good to do that. But if you've got impactations in your intestines, if you look in your eyes, and around the pupil they're brown, The browner the worse, then you can use, the more of that fiber you can use from the juice. And if it's clear, then the less, so you want to filter it out. But otherwise, now you see you need it. So that fiber, so that's okay. It's a small amount of fiber.
So cucumber, parsley, and celery.
And celery. Parsley, I would say, reduce it to 5%. 8% celery, 5% parsley, and 10%, 80% parsley, 80% celery, 5% parsley, 10% cucumber, and you could use, to help the zinc level, have 5% zucchini. Okay? That should help a lot. When you're discarding, like I said in the first book, when a woman goes through menopause, it isn't a cessation of hormones, it's a whole changeover in the types of hormones that are produced. When you start making that change, the body starts detoxing old toxic hormones from the body. It can be adrenaline, it can be anything that's attached to those particular hormones like higher estrogen levels, and they go with it. And that can create anxiety, and it can create irritability, just the regular old PMS stuff, that accompanies a hot flash. It's a little difficult. Hot baths are helpful to do that. Also, it's important if you have those kinds of hormones detoxifying, find yourself hyperactive and nervous, like adrenaline rushes or estrogen rushes, go for the nut formula. Be sure to do the nut formula about every 3 days. And the last thing, in the evening, or with the last meat meal.
Does that just slow it down?
Well, with you mean the nut formula slow it down? Then what the nut formula is, it absorbs the hormone. If the nut formula doesn't work for you, then you have to go to bread or, air pop popcorn with lots of butter, something like that, a cooked starch to do it. Most people can do it with the nut formula, but some people can't.
I find whenever I deviate from the way I eat raw, my craving is for cashews, for nuts.
Yeah. Well, don't eat cashews, unless you can get them totally raw. I know that there's a company, Wolf, claims that he can get completely raw cashews. If they sit on your stomach, they're not really raw. Because I found other things that he's claimed were raw, and then when I went to the producers, found out they weren't raw. Not my raw. Raw under 104 degrees. His raw, he keeps changing his raw to fit what he can get. So you just have to be careful there. And fats, it has to be under 96 degrees. And use the soft nuts. The soft nuts are always better, like the pecan and the walnut. Those are your best. If you have a thyroid problem, then you don't want to have the pine nuts, even though they're soft, because they they feature the production of thyroxine, all 4 of them. Somebody had the pine nuts in a dish here today, but it was such a small amount, it's okay. But if you're doing your nut formula with pine nuts, it can be too much. If you're a hyperactive person, use pine nuts. It's a good thing to use. Okay, you have a question?
Is there any specific nutrient to nourish the optic nerve, to reverse or arrest glaucoma?
Yes. Red meat is the most important I've found to reverse glaucoma. Glaucoma, let me tell you what glaucoma is. Glaucoma is when the body is not circulating in and out of the eye. If the circulation out of the eye isn't as great as the circulation into the eye. So it creates a high pressure and it starts stretching the eyeball. And it causes, scar tissue. It causes lesions in the whole membrane in and around the eye. And the greater the lesions, the less the visibility will be, and then you could start developing cataracts. So, for some reason, red meat, and you would think it was white, and you it would be seafood, but it isn't. In my experiments, I found that when I used exclusively white meat to help reverse an eye condition, it did not work. But when I used a high proportion, like 80% red meat and 20% white meat, it worked best. And when I found that I used 10% fowl, 10% seafood, and 80% red meat, it worked the best. Also, 2 cups of carrot juice a week, 1 cup at a time, with 3 ounces of coconut cream. For some reason, it gets in there and starts cleaning out the eyeball that's causing a restriction of blood out of the eye. It usually takes about 6 months. Now, I had one experiment I did with a dog, a pug who was completely blind with cataracts. And the dog first had glaucoma. The dog had many other problems. He was completely crippled. He was 14 and a half years old. He couldn't eat. He had MS to the point where this is all he could move. So his owner, master, what they call him, take him outside, have to rub his back in just for him to be able to go, urinate or defecate. So I put the dog on a raw diet, and in 6 months the dog was jumping up and down off the couch, going out the doggy door on his own. His vision was improved by 50%, and that was completely blind, deaf, and crippled dog. And the dog could even hear. To what quality, I don't know, but you could say something to him, and then he would respond in front of him.
Speaking of products, just briefly, a friend here was hot dog having respiratory problems. Pneumonia. Any suggestions?
That's usually from vaccines. The aluminum or the mercury or both are going into the lung. It's usually not repairable. So on dogs, it's not easy because you can't get them to eat cilantro and other foods. If the dog will eat some coconut cream or coconut, might be able to reverse it. If he or she, if he takes to eating coconut, probably be able to reverse it.
Yeah, here today, I brought, I had 3 coolers in my car. I had basically nothing left over here, but I brought some stuff. What do you think the only thing I have a lot of it?
Coconut cream?
I have coconut cream. I have like 9 pints of coconut.
What happened to the coconut oil?
Coconut oil from Thailand is literally going to be shipped tomorrow and will be on its way, but that doesn't mean we're going to have it because we know what it happens when you get customs and the FDA, and they could be held for 30 days on the docks in LA Harbor, but it's coming.
And I went to the home of the people who make it when I was last in Thailand in Koh Samui. Very nice people. They're not trying to make $1 million on this business. Just a small family-run business. Just a husband and wife. And it's very low-key, and the quality is very good, excellent. And they keep the room in the oil under 96 degrees for guests.
Exhaustion around 10 o'clock at night.
Pardon?
Fatigue at 10 o'clock at
Wait a
night.
minute, I'm coming around the room. If your question is about what we're talking about, you can interject it. So, yes.
I just have a question on the coconut cream and carrot juice. Could you substitute coconut oil or coconut? But it has to be
Absolutely not. Remember, if I took, see this tin lid? If I put coconut cream on this, in about an hour it will turn gray. It rips metals up that quickly. If I put coconut oil or olive oil or flax oil or any other pressed oil on here, it will take 2 to 3 days to do the same thing. Coconut cream will get in there and rip things apart very rapidly because there's lots of bacteria that does not translate and transfer into the oil. So without those, it's not going to be a cleanser of that kind.
And obviously it has to be raw coconut cream, otherwise it's not going to do its job.
Correct. Destroy the bacteria and enzymes are destroyed.
Does cream from an animal do the same thing?
Cream from an animal, no. If I put cream on that, it'll take about probably 2 days to start turning, pulling out the metal. And that juice, the carrot juice and cream, coconut cream for the eyes should be done about between 4:30 and 6:30 in the evening to deal with the eyes detoxifying the cycle. Because they detoxify right before you go to sleep, somewhere between 9 and 11 o'clock. Good question.
What are the health benefits of stevia, if there are any?
Stevia? What? Stevia?
Yeah.
Sweetener?
Yeah.
It is another toxic pollutive chemical.
Really?
It is. Anytime you take any food and you isolate it, you have to use heat and or a chemical solvent to extract it. Would you take your food and soak it in kerosene before you eat it for 2 hours? That's what it's like. Any food that's extracted no longer has any enzymes or couplings left. And unless you have that coupling, it's like me taking you, dismembering you, and then giving you a whole job. It's not going to happen.
What most people don't understand about stevia and these other things, there's an easy way to explain it, and that is, anybody understand what maple syrup is? Okay, it's the same thing. You're taking the sap of the tree, but you can't eat the sap off of the maple tree. It's unbelievably bad, okay? But they boil it and heat it and isolate and create the sweet thing that we now eat. It's the same as with stevia and a whole bunch of other things that they're using out there. What it is, it's a processed part of something that we're doing. It's not, it's intended to be nature provided at all.
It's the same thing as molasses. Molasses is the garbage oil that's left from boiling sugarcane at least 475 degrees. These are now, I think, 745 degrees, something like that. And that's the garbage that's left on the bottom. And that garbage, because it is a vegetable oil, causes hardening of the arteries and hardening of the heart. Vegetable oils cause all the hardening of the heart and hardening of the arteries. All of the tribes who eat meat, lots of lard and lots of animal fats, have no heart disease and have no arterial sclerosis. None. Zip. Even the ones who eat it cooked. Only cooked meat. Only cooked fat. No heart disease. No arterial sclerosis.
Vegetable oils, you're saying it's not like if you barbecue something, if you cook something, that's not carcinogenic at that?
No, I'm saying it is. No, if you're doing that, it's not. I'm not talking about carcinogen. Carcinogen means cancer producing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something that produces hardening of the arteries.
Yeah.
And hardening of the heart tissue.
Okay, so that
causes it to become brittle.
So that
it doesn't cause that. Cooking meat doesn't cause that problem. The tribes who eat cooked meat have gout. They have arthritis. They have a lot of joint problems. But they don't have arteriosclerosis nor heart disease. Vegetable oils cause that because we have low body temperature. We also have 60,000 times less enzymes to disassemble the fat molecule properly. A cow keeps a body temperature 100 to 101. Vegetable oils at that temperature, as part of that animal, will stay fluid its entire life. If a human eats it, and we make cells with that kind of fat for lubrication and stability and protection, they crystallize and harden. That's why I have people doing baths if they have lymphatic congestion to get rid of those toxic oils. They have to stay in a bath for 45 minutes to an hour and a half at a time, 3 days, every 3 to 4 days. Not any less than that. And what it does is it causes a slow melting of the lymphatic system, and then they have to eat a particular mixture of coconut cream and pineapple right before they get in the bath, and then they have to take a walk, heavily clothed with long underwear, to make sure that the lymph system keeps moving and the pineapple and coconut get into that air, that fat, and prevent it from hardening as much again. If you do it slowly on this diet, it's going to take you 40 years to get rid of all that fat. If you do the baths, you can get rid of it 10 to 15 years. It's a long process.
What goes into that? Just water, hot water?
No, if you're using city water, municipal water, in the valley you only have 158 chemicals in the water. And almost all of it is from industrial pollution. The only thing that city prevents you from getting is bacteria, the things you want. Okay? They don't clean anything else. The water is filthy with chemicals. You get to use it before LA gets it. So LA gets to use it after you. If you're in the valley, you get to use it before LA. In LA now there's 193 chemicals in the water. Spoons of raw apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sun-dried sea salt, and this is optional for your skin, 2 to 3 tablespoons of coconut cream. Because when you're in the bath that long, your skin will have a tendency to get dry.
Coconut cream or coconut oil?
Coconut cream. And if you get out, it just makes the skin nice and protected and smooth so it doesn't dry. Did you have a question about the vegetable oil?
Does that include olive oil?
No. Olive oil is not a vegetable.
I have a question about the bag. What do Epsom salts do? Are those absolutely awful in terms of these bags?
No, not necessarily. You can also use Epsom salts.
Okay.
You know, it's just minerals that will help pull out toxicity.
Okay.
Salt helps break down oils quicker. That's why I say sea salt.
How much of that?
2 tablespoons.
And this is a full bath, this is 2 tablespoons?
Yep.
If somebody uses more than what you said, would it be
The skin will
deleterious?
get more dry. The skin will get drier.
On any of those, the apple cider vinegar, the salt, the milk, or anything
Any
else?
of it will create a little bit of an imbalance.
So don't you
I've been perfecting this for a long time.
Raw milk, goat's milk, cow's milk?
Cow's milk is always better. Whole cow's milk is always better for the cream.
Is it better curdled or not?
Hello?
Is it better cultured or not, the milk?
Well, if you like sour-smelling skin, it's fine. It's up to you. Doesn't make a difference otherwise. Okay. 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 to 3 cups of raw milk, 2 tablespoons of sea salt, 2 to 3 tablespoons of coconut cream.
Is it a hot bath at a certain temperature?
It has to be, you have to keep the bath from 102 to 105 degrees for a minimum of 45 minutes. You want to work it up to an hour, and then over a year work it up to an hour and a half. And when you get out of the bath, you have to move like a snail, otherwise you'll pass out. So you have to get out of the bath, sit on the toilet, dry slowly, and get some long underwear. Winter Silks, www.wintersilks.com, has a long underwear that's made of wool and silk. But they're thin, but they keep you very warm. Put that on, clothes on top of that. Take a very, I don't care if you look like an old person out there walking this slow, you just need to walk for 45 minutes. And then when you get back, take a nap. These baths should ideally be done between 1:30 and 4:30 in the afternoon. If you do them in the morning, your whole day is going to be imbalanced. If you do it at night, you may not sleep well. Okay?
Quick question on the bath.
Pardon?
At the end of the bath, you shower to clean off.
No, you don't want to do it. You want to let the coconut cream and everything sit on there, because while you're in there, the water and the food that you put in the water helps keep extracting all the poisons off. So they're off the skin. That's the whole point.
Shower after that.
You don't want to shower after that, because then you're going to take off the coconut cream and your skin's going to dry. Plus you're going to get more chemicals on your skin
It's in the summer.
from the water.
It's in the summer when people have trouble to take that hot bath. In places.
Well, yeah, it's difficult, but
Is there a, do you want a skin brush before we go into the bath? Like, is that
never
better?
use a skin brush. If you've ever looked at your skin after you've brushed it under a microscope, you'll see that you've scratched the hell out of it. Because it literally puts scratches in your skin layers.
I
Scratched it.
completely agree.
I mean, if you look at it under a microscope, you would be astounded. You would never, ever do it again. Because then it scabs, and you look at it for the next 24 hours, it's all scabbed, and then you do it again. And you just keep doing it until you wear the skin down, and then you get rosacea and all kinds of other problems. Because the skin's getting too thin and too delicate. take a cotton cloth or a silk cloth, get in the bath, stay in there until everything's soft, then rub it off gently. And they'll come off easily.
You want to be sort of, I mean, like, up to here in the back? Is
Yeah.
that important?
And just keep putting, like put a washcloth that's damp on your face or something. Just keep, moist.
You can get in and out of the bath, right, in between time.
No.
You have to stay in there the full hour.
You have to stay in there a full hour because if you cool, you're not going to get it deep enough into your body to get
How
it
if you
hot
get
enough.
something to drink, water or something?
But with your particular heat flashes, you don't have to worry about it. You're always going into fever. So you don't have to do
I'll
the
tell you
bath.
one thing, when I get my question answered, I'll put it in. But I know.
So this is for lymphoma.
This is for anybody with lymphatic congestion. And let me tell you, everybody has lymphatic congestion.
Everybody in this room already has.
Everybody has. Especially you, Jacob.
I already know that.
Mr. Soy Products.
He's not joking.
Soy products. Soy chips. Man, lived on soy chips.
I lived on vegetable oil, cooked vegetable oil, salad dressings and whatnot for 28 years. I'll just say briefly because I talk about it a lot. In the first 5 years of doing this diet, you literally I were on a dark sheet on a bed and I just rubbed my skin with my fingernails or whatnot. You would see the whole thing was white and that's all that, it's like shards coming out of my skin. It's crystallized, it's amazing stuff. It's all the old oil.
Okay, do you have a question?
No, does it look like
No, it's going around.
Oh,
I have hepatitis C and it's shown itself yet. What is the best thing I can do to strengthen the liver?
Have a party and celebrate your seat.
Did they give you a test recently?
I haven't had the test in a year, but last year it keeps getting lower and lower. I've been on the diet for 4 years now, and it keeps getting lower and lower my liver count every time I get the test.
You mean the C is getting low?
Yeah.
Not your protein or your liver?
No, it's an elevated liver count.
Yeah.
And it's getting low. It's not that low, but it's getting low. And it's funny that my cholesterol doesn't seem to go
Go on to your. Okay, first of all, if you get any of the hepatitis all the way from A to H, they are all cleansers. They are virus. Virus are not alive. Virus are not contagious. Your body, when it's so toxic that it can't incubate and facilitate bacteria or parasites or fungi to help detoxify a certain area of the body, and it's the liver if it's hepatitis, the body manufactures a virus. A lot of them are hepatitis virus. The cells manufacture it. It's to cleanse, it's to disassemble. If your body's healthy enough, it can use virus, it can use bacteria, fungus, or parasites to go in there and eat up the dead tissue. But if it's too toxic, let's say you've had chemotherapy, or you've had a lot of asthmatic medication, allergy medication, your liver is very poisoned. There's no way that you're going to be able to facilitate and have an environment that's clean enough for bacteria, fungus, or parasites. So your body has to make a solvent to go in there and chemically disassemble it. Now the difference between bacteria and parasites and fungus helping you detoxify is that they can eat anywhere from 50 to 100 times their weight in a 24-hour period. And they defecate a small portion of that. Parasites will make discarding feces or secretions of only 1 to 1.5% of what they consume. That means they can take a mass as big as this room, according to their size, and reduce it into about a basketball size. That's very little toxicity for us to have to deal with. Bacteria is a little different. They can eat about 50 times their weight and reduces it down to about 5%. So we've got a big beach ball. But still, it's better than this whole room worth of toxicity. Fungus is the same thing. It reduces it. However, when a fungus is involved, there is about 20% waste thrown off. That's why you get dryness of the skin. You have itching whenever there's a fungus. Remember, all yeasts are funguses, so you women who deal with yeast infections, you have a 20% discarding, which causes all the itching and odor. When you have a virus that is not alive, that does not eat and consume, it just goes in there and just breaks it and dissolves it. Just like you would take a, let's say, muriatic acid, and you want to clean the garbage from your pool. It doesn't consume it and reduce the toxicity. It contaminates all the water that it's in, so it spreads it throughout your entire system. So you have a bucket of contaminated fluid. It's the same thing when the body uses viruses. The contamination is spread throughout the body. Understand? So your hepatitis is a virus. People get very sick from that virus because of all the contamination that's getting out in the body. But it's still the best thing you can do, your liver can do, is to have the virus to get the liver well. Otherwise, you go into, lethargy, chronic fatigue, be unable to be functional. So the hepatitis is what you need. But you can tell your liver's getting better because you need less of the hepatitis. You need less of the hepatitis to break down the liver cells. You have less liver contamination spread in your body.
I have one other question. Prostate cancer runs in the body. What can I do to avoid prostate? And that's 30 to 40 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly because of vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is hardened dry out and hardened in the prostate gland. It dries out and it doesn't stretch. It just keeps swelling. So hot baths, hot water bottle between your legs at night. It's also a good, anti-pregnancy therapy there because the body keeps in the male this very low temperature, about 96 degrees. If it goes above that, the sperm die. Like that. So if you put a hot water bottle between your legs and then cook your sperm, then you have to worry about a baby to swim because they're going to be so not make it anywhere. So just using a hot water bottle there at night is helpful. Eating pineapple with coconut cream is helpful to move it out. Okay? Do you have a question?
Yeah, but I don't know a lot about diet. So I just have a ignorant question, which is it possible to do this diet without eating red meat at all?
This diet wouldn't exist without the law.
Red meat.
Red meat, there are some people that can eat the diet without red meat. I wouldn't say that they do as well, but they can function fine. So if they have a high adrenaline count, a high, if it's men, a high testosterone, and a high thyroid. I've only known one woman who could do it. She did it for 37 years, but then her spine started to deteriorate. So she started eating red meat. And she had high estrogen, high adrenaline, and high thyroid. So those are the only people who were able to do it. If you match that, I would say, yeah, you could do it. Well, I don't know how long, but you'd probably be able to do it until you got into the opening your mind to the red meat. A lot of people say, well, what if I don't do the diet 100%? I say this, if you only eat one raw food in your life, you're adding enzymes, and it's good for you. So the more you do it, the better you are. The more cooked food you eat, of course, you're adding contamination. So it's your choice. You have a question?
Yes. While setting up the website, I had a little preview of the upcoming new book. And regarding mental clarity, you talked about a couple of additives to the juice. But also, there's something about vegetable juice with milk. And I've never seen that anywhere. I wonder if it was a typo. No. You drink vegetable juice with milk.
For a certain situation, I do it specific for that condition. I also have eggs with vegetable juice for specific diseases. Not to have in general.
So it would also be for a limited time until,
Correct.
until
Until that disease is
Oh,
gone.
we'll be like the first book. We see the idea that we can have bread. Well, all kids, we have bread for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm specific about it. Why you should have it.
We only see what we want to see.
There's 3 pages that have changed, 4 pages that have changed it. So I've given this to you. I let an editor go through the book, and they changed. My mother's name went to Doors instead of Doris. My father's name Joseph went to Joseph. And the multiplies went to multiple. So, and then the last page on the order form, the online was got ripped off from your website.
You have to read that entire book, every word?
Every time. I have to read it at least 20 times. Each time.
Tape doesn't work.
The first time I read it 86 times.
Oh my God.
30 times a
If they don't know, because they didn't read, they didn't write it.
And they go through it and make mistakes, and I have to go back and correct them.
You are correct.
And I'm sure that there are 20 I didn't catch.
Yep.
okay.
So I've got 4 pages to change. 31, 32, 134, and 362. 361.
Now, yeah, well, listen, it isn't mental clarity is a relative thing. I mean, you get some, you want some more. It's like money.
Oh, yes. Everything. You feel better, you want more. More sex you have, you want. The more affection you have, the more you want. Or you're irritable, the more irritability you want. The more expression you want, your irritability.
Therefore, you want to keep on drinking milk with your vegetables. So is
this could be helpful. Tim, you got a question?
Yeah.
I don't
What's your position on raw cacao?
What?
Chocolate, raw cacao, the cacao.
Oh. Well, when I did experiments with it, it causes adrenaline rushes. It causes dryness. The theobromine is still very active, so it irritates the nervous system. It has caffeine and theobromine. Plus,
but if those are in a raw form, they're still not
vegetables are raw and they're not good for you. Those beans are not good for you. Somebody's telephone? Yeah. Beans are not good for you. Beans, like any kind of bean, it takes an herbivore to digest them properly. For us, they're not good. They're not healthy. They'll cause, just like the vegetable oils, the hardening of the arteries and hardening of the system. So, if you're young enough, you can eat them and it would make you feel good. But in the long run, it's not good for you.
The Mexicans have been eating beans for centuries.
Pardon?
The Mexicans have been eating beans for centuries and they're doing well. They look well, they're strong.
They haven't been doing it for centuries.
Oh.
But they've been doing it for about a century.
At least.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say they're doing too well.
Oh, they're not.
No, they're pretty irritable, pretty passionate.
Oh, that's what it does.
It's like the Italians with the olive oil.
Yeah.
It's so irritating to their systems that they're always in some kind of a passion conflict. So you have to see what these foods do behaviorally. Take, for example, I've got a woman who has 5 children. And, they're strict on the diet unless they go with grandma or grandpa. Grandma or grandpa will give them candy. It's immediately apparent because they're irritable when they get home, and they don't mind, and they don't think logically or rationally. It's automatically instant. And the father isn't on the diet. So he gives the kids cookies and candy. And then the mother has to deal with it because she's with them all day long. He doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah, when you've heard that story once, I've heard that story 15 times in the last year. By being a lot.
Yeah.
From all the women who
have children. Yeah.
What do they do about it? They do the best thing they can about it. I mean, sometimes you can't. If you're sharing your kids and they're not living with you completely,
there's nothing you can do about it.
You have to deal with it.
Yep. You have to slap them around.
Why I said that. why I said that.
Nice, Aajonus.
No, because the Mexicans didn't get gray hair.
You got no choice when they're starting to throw things great. You got to do something physical to stop the physicality. It doesn't happen that sometimes. The kids start throwing toys because the sugar's completely miswired in the brain. That's not a good thing.
I don't know.
I put them on a
But
drip
one
IV
thing-
as cream.
But one thing I have to mention about the Mexicans that they don't get gray hair like Hispanics.
Kathy, you can't make conclusions based on stuff like that.
Oh.
You haven't studied that race and you haven't lived with them and you don't know.
Because somebody said to me they don't get gray.
Absolute bullshit. You go down to Mexico City and half of them have gray hair. Because they're living in a polluted city.
Oh, they look strong. They can do heavy, hard work.
That is a generalization that doesn't exist. We have lots of Americans that look the same way.
Oh, they're strong.
You have to forget all those myths.
Okay.
You have to go live with it and find out.
I just wanted to add the raw cacao made me crazy when I used to eat it because I'm really sensitive to caffeine and that other chemical that's in chocolate.
The overnight.
Yeah, I'm really, really sensitive. Like I could be a guinea pig for that kind of thing, and they drove me insane.
I had it one time when David Wolf came out with it. I thought I know better than to do this, but I didn't. Because I wanted to experiment. I did not sleep for 48 hours.
From what,
I wanted to
caffeine?
fuck everything in sight. I wanted to run a marathon. You know? It was terrible.
And when David Wolf went to Pangaea in Hawaii, he convinced everybody to go on the chocolate, and now they've all become chocoholics.
True.
It's true.
Oh, no. I called him 3 days after David was there, and everything is just falling apart.
Wait a minute, not only that, but I just want to say something. I watched a man's emotional state, the man who runs Pangaea, Denise, changed so dramatically that when I had just been there 3 months earlier, and then I talked to him, he was literally had become a literal devotee of David Wolf, to the point of arguing with me, and he was never like that before. And it was the chocolate that was doing it. He didn't even realize it.
Wow. And they have a book out now, promoting the whole nutrition.
What is it?
That it's good. I tried it myself. I mean, I shopped there before when I was vegetarian, and I took just a couple of the beans, and I felt really great. It's like a high, but it doesn't last, unfortunately. If you can live that way forever, it'd be perfect. Then you come right off, and it slams you hard.
Headaches. I was not a nice
And I just had that too.
Yeah, and I did it. I made a chocolate with it. I put it with honey and lots of butter because I knew what it would do to me if I had it by itself. So I floured it, made a chocolate out of it with lots of butter and some honey and
That's
even
right.
cream.
Okay.
So I had even buffered. Imagine what it's done to me otherwise. Okay, Louis.
Okay, I have a question regarding fermented foods that various tribes and cultures. There's been a lot of research on how tribes eat raw. What's your take on fermented foods that hunters or Eskimos presumably used along with their diets?
Okay, and then we're talking about Sally Fallon and a lot of those people that have had no frickin' experimental experience, nor did Price. Price went around observing, never experimenting. So all of his conclusions are theoretical or based on no fact. He comes to conclusions based on observations just like Kathy just did. It's based on nothing, foundation. When I've experimented with those fermented foods, and I started experimenting with them in the early 70s before Sally Fallon was breathing in this business. And they created all kinds of bacterial disorders. Vegetarian animal needs a vegetable fermentation. A human being does not need a vegetable fermentation. Let me give you an example. When I was in Vietnam and Cambodia last summer at this time, I was not able to get vegetable juice. Like my celery and cucumber juice like I am in Thailand. And on the streets you can get juice right there. You can in Mexico too. But in Cambodia and Vietnam, they were not available. So I ran into a vegetable that I thought, this could be dangerous. Sugar cane. I said, oh my God, sugar, I was such a sugarholic. I was a thief for it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a diabetic, and I would get so starved for sugar, I would steal boxes of chocolate-covered cherries and go through them in 40 minutes.
Oh.
I used to steal 4 or 5 candy bars, if I didn't get that in a day, like Baby Ruth's or Hershey bars, and eat those in about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And it would kill me for the rest of the day. So I didn't have to worry about anything. So I just crashed. But if I didn't have that with the insulin that I was taking, I was just nuts. Delirious. So I thought, this is my opportunity to detox. So let me try this sugar cane. So I happened to be in Cambodia at the time. You juice it for you right on the street. It doesn't taste very good. So they put a lime, like a half of a lime per glass to give it a nicer flavor. So I took 2 ounces, waited an hour, nothing happened. So I took in 4 ounces, nothing happened. I took 8 ounces, nothing happened. No sugar reaction at all. Took 16 ounces, no sugar reaction. And I realized that's why they boil the sugar cane at 450 to 700 degrees. Because the sugar is in the cellulose, not in the juice.
So it was boiled?
So you're getting the sugar cane juice is almost like celery. Almost has no carbs in it. So I started drinking it and I thought, since I was a sugarholic and I had spent 21 years or 22 years of eating a tremendous amount of sugar. I mean, if I had a bowl of cereal with sugar crisps, I put an extra 4 tablespoons of sugar on that. And they were already sweet, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Me too.
I was almost like Hitler, who put sugar on top of the icing of cake and put sugar in his wine.
Sugar in what? Lime?
No wonder that man was so crazy.
I was taking a glass
He
of
was a
milk.
vegetarian on top of it.
So since you're talking about this,
I was taking a glass of milk.
Let me finish. Okay. So I decided I would ferment the sugarcane juice and detoxify it, because whenever you've eaten anything cooked, you've destroyed all the bacteria, all the fermentation bacteria, all the molding bacteria, anything that'll break that food substance down naturally when your body is finished with it, so it can clear it out of the body. It's just like you have a piece of fruit, and let's say you eat part of it, and then what does it do? It rots. It ferments, it turns into a mold, and it disintegrates and becomes part of the earth again. Then plants can eat it, so it's a recycling. Inside the body, it's the same thing. That's how we use bacteria and fungus to regenerate and to discard waste. So I ate so much sugar that had no bacteria in it, no fungi, no mycelium that breeds the fungi, that I thought if I would detoxify myself by fermenting it. So I fermented about 16 ounces. And I took it half one day and half the next day. I had hives this size all over my body. My backside, all around here, all over my chest and legs and my butt and my rectum. And they turned into scabs. I refused to scratch them, even though they itch terribly. So I spent 2 days in Hanoi in my hotel room just dealing with these hives and the itching. I had tomatoes that I was rubbing on them to help cool them down, and cucumber. Tomatoes and cucumber was the only thing that would stop it. But I had scabs coming off of it that lasted for 6 weeks. But one thing that it did was it helped trim a lot of sugar products that had been still stored in my body. Funny, after I did that, I did not have to have the high weight that I normally had, because I usually stayed his size. And it helped bring me down. Then I decided to do the same thing with raw milk. And when I had fermented the raw milk, I let it go 10 days, really fermented. And I drank almost a whole quart in one day. Mistake. I had diarrhea for 2 months from it. And my bone just started disappearing. And all of my weight was way down. So But what it did was it cleaned all that stuff out, so now I don't have to have all that weight to feel comfortable and fine. This was 28 years on the diet before I went into that kind of detoxification. So when I do the detoxification book, it'll come around, next spring sometime. It'll be out and available. I will suggest these things if you're healthy enough to do detoxification, but never push them, because you will not be able to live with it easily. You will not be able to go to work. You won't be able to function. So don't push anything that I suggest. And make sure you've been on the diet for 2.5 years before you do anything, before you push any detoxification, or you're asking for trouble.
Or your picture will be in the detox book.
Let me tell you, I'm collecting them.
How fermented was the milk?
Pardon?
How fermented was the milk?
10 days.
10 days.
It was so fermented that when I took the lid off, the alcohol burned my nose. Literally turned my eyes red. That's how.
Where did you put the milk in a cupboard for 10 days?
Covered outside the refrigerator.
What about the juice that turns sour in the fridge? Then that's no good.
That's detoxification. If you want to, if you've been on the diet long enough, you can let your couple of cups of juice ferment for 5-7 days, and then turn it into a vinegar for detoxification. But you don't want to do too much of it.
When I drank my fermented vegetable juice, and it was only about a couple of days too old, I still got diarrhea.
Yeah. We'll clean you out. Definitely.
How many are you supposed to drink? How much are you supposed to drink of the juice a day?
Well, I'm not supposed to drink any. But if you do, no more than a cup a day, no more than 2 cups a week. It's no more than 5 days. Burn your nose, don't drink. Unless you're doing an ounce at a time. There'll be a variable all of you.
Yes, back to the fermented vegetables for 1 second. Are we talking about all the other things like sauerkrauts and all that stuff? Or are we talking about
all of them will interfere with the natural bacteria that you have for meat and dairy. That's for a vegetarian animal. And you won't find many vegetarian animals that will eat fermented anything, because they're not used to eating cooked food. They don't need that added bacteria.
So the fermentation is for detoxification.
It's for detoxification, yes.
So is it a good thing for us on the primal diet once in a while to have some sauerkraut?
If you've eaten cooked vegetables in your lifetime, absolutely.
But you wouldn't eat it every day, something like that?
Absolutely not. You'll destroy your natural bacteria.
Detox book.
Just think, after I did that sugar cane, I had diarrhea for 2 months. I have gas. I never had gas, or rarely had gas, and never stunk once I started eating meat and dairy. After that fermented sugar cane juice, I still have nasty gas with eggs in it. And I destroyed some of the bacteria that digest my egg properly. So I'm rotting eggs, or I'm letting eggs get high, eat them to help supplement that again. I don't know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, because I have
It's been a year.
The reason why I'm asking is because I was on the diet for about 5 or 6 or 7 years, and then I decided to have some sauerkraut one day, and I never had, just like you, I never had gas, but like within 24 hours, I was like, whew!
Nowhere to be around.
Not me. It was like
It goes in there and destroys the acidic bacteria that feeds and breaks down meats and dairy. It destroys it.
I see. All right.
And if you look at the people who are long-term on Sally Fallon's suggestions, they're bloated, they're anemic looking, they are not healthy people. Sally Fallon is not a healthy looking person. She points to me as not being healthy either, but she's pointing to me when after the 2 accidents in Thailand when I was badly damaged. I got mugged in Bangkok a year and a half ago. And they hit me with a board here and split my eye open, and hit me with a hammer or crowbar here. And they broke my bone all the way down here and knocked my teeth and the bone under my tongue. So I had to have the whole thing pulled back in place, wired my jaw, and then the teeth wired in. And the dentist in Thailand said the nerve, which is a hose that goes around all the nerves from the tooth are connected to, was completely separate here and here. no way that that could be regenerated. And the bone was split completely on both sides and stretched so badly all the way under my tongue that there's no way it could heal. So they wanted to remove that whole section of my mouth. So I had a big hole all the way down near my jaw. And I said, you have no idea other than how you're treating with drugs and everything, how the body does not heal. So, if you know how it does not heal, you don't know how it heals. So wire my jaw, put the teeth back in place, put the bone back in place, wire my jaw, wire the teeth in, and let me deal with it. And if it goes into necrosis, which is rotting, decomposition, I'll have it all removed. About 3 to 6 weeks of that happening. So all that, the bone's there. I still got a big division here. The bone hasn't completely filled in here, but it is. These teeth are solid. And when it happened, they were like this, back and forth. And the bone was completely deteriorated.
I know that. I was looking in that mouth the day you got that.
Oh my God.
How long did it take for you to do it?
It took a full year before I could chew on you'll see, green pear, before I could chew with it. So I had to have all my food ground, for that year. But they're there. And I went back a week to the day to the hospital and showed those dentists. And there were 4 nurses that were there, and there were 3 dentists that worked on me to put it back because it was a mess. It split my entire lip open from here all the way down to here. And the whole thing was open, and they had to piece it back together and sew it back together, inside and out.
Oh, yeah.
And then that too, the bone and the teeth. And they were just amazed. They were just poking in my mouth all around. Couldn't believe it. Pulling out the teeth, trying to get them to move that picture of those with prostheses. They were,
it's like you're around. It's like, what people think is going to heal, I tell you, it works.
And then 4 months after that, I was in Thailand, and this kid ran a stop sign in this huge Jeep SUV, and I was in a brand new small Isuzu SUV in the 3rd seat and back. He hit us so hard that we flipped over 3 times.
Somebody else would have been dead.
I flew out of the harness, this way, and of course the seatbelt coming down. My head went through the window, shoulder hit the panel, broke my collarbone, clavicle. The clavicle went through my neck and back without hitting my jugular vein, broke 2 ribs, and put a hole in my head this deep. Fractured my skull and put the bone in. I hit it, I was in such pain. I went to the hospital with everybody else that was in both cars. And thank God they were overloaded. There was another accident at the same time. So they were so busy that the doctors were going around asking only where it hurt. They weren't looking at you all over, as they should. But they just, where does it hurt? So I didn't tell you anything about my head. I've got shards of glass, plexiglass in my head, and I'm keeping my hair covering it, and just telling my ribs and my shoulder. And I said, they said, well, we'll do a series of x-rays. I said, you get 2 x-rays. You get 1 here and 1 this way. And that's all you get. You better make it count. Because I wanted to make sure I was back in place. I was in so much pain. Didn't feel like it was back in place, but it was. So I got back to the hotel, and I was in excruciating pain. The only way I could lie was on the right side of my body to keep the arm just like this, and the pain still was not reduced enough where I could sleep. So I took a slab of beef, put it on there, steak that was cut thinly, put it on the shoulder. I had some people there helping me. A Thai woman who was very helpful. A wife was one of the people who was helping me find some property. So I put that on there. I was asleep in 10 minutes. Took that raw meat, just took the pain right out of the bone after I go to sleep. So I'd wake up every 5-6 hours. I'd have the raw meat and honey and butter, or I'd have butter, honey, and a little section of green banana. And I just kept altering that 36 hours. I flew back to Bangkok, stayed there 5 days, and then flew home. But they said that because of my age, I'm working on my 59th year, they said because of my age and the damage done here, that I'd never be able to have full motion.
Oh, sure.
4 months later, I was able to do this painfully, but I was able to do it. And you can see it's been a year and 3 months since the accident. No pain, no nothing. And my body on this lump right here, this very small one, it was as big as a hard ball, half of a hard ball. My body built its own cast. And as it gets better, it reduces more and more. Just like my mouth took about a year and a half to feel completely solid. I've got about 4 more months for this to go, and it probably will be all dissolved. It just takes time, but on this diet, at least it can happen. So anyway, with those 2 accidents, I turned white as a ghost. The weight went off, took all the muscle in my arm to go up and heal this. So it's got real skinny, and all of a sudden I started developing all this elderly-looking tissue. It was just sagging everywhere because I lost all the weight, and I didn't have the nutrients to deal with it because they were going toward healing. And with those severe accidents. So I aged 15 years, and over a period of a year from those accidents. And now in the last 3 months, it's reversed. So I'm looking younger. But Sally Fallon doesn't have that advantage. She just gets older and older and more anemic looking and bloated every year.
Well, I think it's a mistake for anybody in this business at all to attack each other for not looking the picture of health. All of us are trying to aspire to health, and I really do. I think it's a big mistake. I try not to attack anybody because of, well, they're promoting this, but look at them, that kind of thing. It's
too many variables.
There are many variables, but I think that you should. My publisher, he says, if you didn't look this healthy, I'd never publish your books. And the main reason he did it was he found a copy of my manuscript and sent it to his brother who had had a sleeping disorder since he was 6 years old, and he was 23 at the time. My publisher was 25 at the time. He gave my manuscript to his brother and said, try this diet. I've seen lots of people, and they do well. And this is before he published the book. Just some kid who was just, an entrepreneur, produced his first film at 25 years old, and, scads of money. This kid was brilliant. Never went to college. Brilliant kid. So he sent it to his brother. His brother did the diet. 5 days later, they broke the door down to his room because they thought he committed suicide because they didn't hurt him for 5 hours. Wow. He was asleep. First time he'd slept more than 20 minutes since he was 6 years old. He never went into REM. He never got a deep sleep, so he was antisocial, homicidal, suicidal, everything. And the father had spent well over 6 figures in doctor bills, psychologists, psychiatrists, everything, medication, nothing worked. This diet did it. The father went to his desk, wrote out a check for $75,000 and sent it to his son and said, publish this book. That's the way the book got published. But he still didn't believe in the bacteria, so he wouldn't let me say the bacteria was good. Now he lets me do anything.
No, I don't think there's anybody who's been on the diet for more than 3 or 4 or 5 years that doubts at this point, like myself, how good this really is. I really don't. I think all of us really finally recognize that. We don't have, we're not here to argue with other people about it, especially Sally Fallon or anybody else. I get people as well who come over and call me or whatnot, and they want to get into an argument about it, and I'm just like,
can't. There's no arguing. You have to experience it. You either experience it or you don't. And not everybody's meant to be well at it, to do it this way. Okay? Good question. Well, I put it in the recipe book. I say take the butter with you, take the honey with you, and take the cheese with you. You can meat and eggs anywhere. Those are your primary focus. Vegetable juice, you just have as green fruit as you can get it. Unripe, so it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. That's the way to do it. And I go to these fruit stands, and they're cutting up all this really ripe fruit because in Asia, the elderly only eat green fruit. They don't eat any ripe. But now this new generation has fed all these sugar and soda pops. They go for the sugary stuff. So when I go up to one of these carts, I say, give me the rind of give me the part you're going to throw away. Give me the rind of the watermelon. I'll sit there and eat a few watermelon rinds. Perfect.
You eat the green, just the green inside?
I don't eat the green outside, the very hard stuff. I eat the light green and the white of the rind.
That's how we could all over here is going to be raw, organic, right? Fruit. But it's too much sugar.
Too much sugar deteriorates the bones. That's why all those people on, fruitarian diets lose their teeth and lose their bones.
Yeah, she knows. She did the same thing I did. She's been a fruitarian for a little while, too. Great.
I can see.
Yeah.
You have anemia, and you have very thin bones. And your skin is also not real strong.
No, that's the problem.
Yeah, but that's fruitarians, with their long
She's on her way.
So you needed lots of honey to replace.
Well, I was just going to ask you about that because I got your list of book there and I was reading it to travel and stuff. But I've never been able ever in my life to eat honey, even really raw honey. Because
Unheated, completely unheated.
I don't think so. I mean, I can eat it, eczema, everything.
That causes them to detoxify and eliminate their poisons. It doesn't feed them unless it's heated honey. So if you have one of the brands that he sells, you won't have a problem with it. You may have a temporary itching. You just have a little bit more butter or cream with it.
Butter or cream.
Yeah, and you just might want to stick with the comb, the honey in the comb, that's a little bit more pure. For a
So I
while.
can have a little smoothie, put butter and cream in it with,
If you do that, it's going to disperse it quicker. It's going to disperse the sugars. Eat the honey by itself or with cream or butter only.
Oh, okay, on a spoon.
Yeah. Spoon and eat it. That's the best way to do it. If you put it in a vehicle to send the milk sugars out into the body, because they'll digest rapidly with the honey in it, because of all the enzyme activity, then you're going to have a lot of milk sugars irritating your body. You're going to have more itching. It doesn't increase fungus at all, their activity. You're just dealing with more sugar detoxification that dries out the skin.
So when you're saying eat more honey, you're actually saying eat more honey
By itself.
Yeah.
And the three things that you travel with are butter, honey, and what?
Teas. And I'll take about at most a half a pound per day that I'm going of butter. So if I'm going for 30 days, I take 15 pounds of butter with me.
And it doesn't ferment?
I keep it in a cooler, and I always get a room with a refrigerator. And I take out all the soda pop and beers and alcohol and put my butter in there. And cheese.
But you can have it at room temperature.
Sometimes. Oh yeah. Definitely. That's what I'm eating is at room temperature always.
You have to have it go through the scanner though.
No.
No, the trick that I learned
in Asia, I don't have a problem.
Oh, in Asia, but I mean, if you're going from LA
I've been able to get through again.
Again in LA?
The trick that I
when you
learned when I
that?
travel, Kathy, is if you ship it to yourself, I've done it 3 or 4 times, I actually ship it to myself. I send it FedEx, UPS, DHL, and it's there before I get there.
Whatever hotel you go to, they hold it for you.
When I went to Hawaii, it was sitting on my front doorstep at my house that I had rented.
Oh.
In a cooler. I shipped it to myself in a cooler. It was cold when I arrived.
Wow. But the only thing, you don't take any food with you on the plane.
No.
I do because I'm getting it into the hand check it again.
What do you say to
for
them?
6 months period, they were jerks, but most of the places I went, my patients always had food for me there, so I didn't have to carry it. I would just go up there. I'd always want something on the plane unless I'm going to Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, or I'm going to New York City, and it's a 5-hour flight. I want something on the plane. So if they wouldn't hand check it without scanning it, I'd stand there and eat a half a dozen raw eggs on my raw meat. I tried to have me arrested because I was going to cause them harm and damage, give them some kind of disease. They called the police, and the police come and I'd say, "You ticket to arrest me for this. How's this going to look in the court? I'm just eating food. You can arrest me for eating food."
Oh.
And this is a public place. So, they back off, so I just stand there and eat it from them. You know, just change their minds a little bit.
You don't want to wait for it to stand.
It won't go.
It does, but because I have a radiation therapy, it causes more of a reaction for me. If most people just put it through the hand scanners, you know, the walk through, the carry on, it's not going to be that bad if it only goes through one time.
But we can't do what you do.
Pardon? When you walk, not the, you know, not the, that's a magnetic that you walk through. But you have to put your bags on this one that goes through a scanner. That's low-level radiation.
Bags, keys, wallet, they make you take everything. I'm surprised they don't like strip you clean, you know.
Well, the last time I went, I didn't know what I was going to get in San Francisco, so I had meat in plastic bags, butter, you know, in my pocket.
Right.
But they let me, you know, they
walked through.
No, they hand checked it for me.
Oh, really?
So I just had that stuff in my pocket for nothing. So it was good. Yes.
I thought of my question. Can you comment on honey as a moisturizer, like raw honey?
It is.
That's one of the things I've noticed. I started using it. So.
Yeah. It's good.
Let's talk about fermentation though. Does that mean kefir is fermented?
That fermentation is for that food. It's not a vegetable fermentation.
Oh.
So it helps pre-digest that food for you. But if you're letting it go high ferment like I did, that's too far, too much alcohol. Because the alcohol starts destroying the Bulgarians and Caucasicums.
So it's the longest you should let it ferment for?
Probably 5 days. But if you put it in the fridge, it's going to stop it. It's going to stay right where it is.
Well, you make kefir yogurt, you know.
When I make my kefir, what I do is I take milk, and I'll take 2 quarts of milk, and I'll pour a half a cup, about 6 ounces by volume of milk into a small jar. I put 2 ounces of honey. I blend that. Then I take a third milk bottle, so I've got 3 quarts, and I divide everything evenly of the milk. Then I take the honey blended milk, and I pour that in evenly to all 3. Then I add 2 ounces of cream to each one, and then I shake it up. And then I put it in a warm cupboard, the dark warm cupboard, for 1.5 to 2 days, and I have kefir. Then I put it in the refrigerator. So I got a nice thick kefir.
If the day is very warm, you want to take it out sooner, don't you? Or do you just leave it there too?
Well, if it gets thicker sooner, that's fine. Take it out sooner. But as soon as it starts, when it's thick, not just mildly thick, when it's thick is when I put it.
So you may have done something bad because we put our bad milk in the cupboard for 2 weeks and then put it back in the fridge. It's just that. Is that
Well, that may be a little too much alcohol.
Yeah.
Did you start having gas afterwards?
I don't think so.
Then maybe it wasn't too bad.
So when it's thick and separates from the whey and everything.
Just shake it up again. It's
It
fine.
does make a difference.
It'll mix as soon as you shake it. Okay. Do you have a question?
Yeah,
Just give me one at a time.
okay. First one is, I had a blood clot in my body, and for 6 months I've not treated it, and I had major circulation problems. Like, I would go to sleep with an arm part through the floor, I couldn't sleep. So I wanted to sleep, like, I couldn't concentrate. So I was getting blood thinners every week. And my question is, I don't know if I need to go through a detox, but if I'm following your diet, the 2 things that I'm not doing perfectly is I'm not doing at least a pound of red meat a day, maybe 3/4 of a pound.
Well, it doesn't have to be a pound of red meat. It has to be a pound of meat altogether.
During one day.
Yes.
I'm going to consider about 3/4 of a pound. And I'm finding that point, like I'm getting fat and I'm full. But I'm also not doing the week. And I'm getting fatigued in and out of the day, and at night, 10 o'clock, I'm dead. Whereas before I could go to sleep.
Does not help. There's a high adrenaline. All animals take siestas during the day and they sleep at night. Siestas nocturnal. So man, normally in the wild, man went to sleep at sunset. Got up sometime during the night, ate, and went back to sleep. You know, so right before, about an hour before sunrise. That's a normal cycle if you're, you know, wild and living outdoors. I lived outdoors for 3 years, so I know what it was like, and that's what it's like. So the body normally does its cycle. So you're just getting more normal. 10 o'clock is still pretty late, but you probably wake up after the sun's risen because you're sleeping indoors. If you're sleeping outdoors, you can wake before the sun comes.
Yeah, like Aajonus time to get up at 4 o'clock.
So what about the coumadin?
The coumadin is very toxic. It damages liver, gallbladder, and spleen, and it's not good at all.
What kind of chemical is it? What is it?
Coumadin is a blood thinner. It robs the body of vitamin K and vitamin U,
But I mean, what
so it doesn't clot properly.
is it? Just a chemical they've treated?
Yeah, it's a chemical. It's a medication.
I hear it's like rat blood.
Yeah, it's basically that. It causes a lot of damage. And the way you thin the blood is to eat lots of honey. Yeah.
I don't want to do too
Have lots of honey.
Why
And don't sleep lying down.
Why does honey tend to blood?
Anybody that has a congestive system, if they lie down, the gravity pushes right down, and then there's not much passage anyway. And if the gravity works against it, you can't sleep. I had the same thing after the poison mushroom.
Chemicals and
Constricted everything in my body, so I had to sleep at an angle, mainly sitting up. For 2.5 years I had to sleep.
anesthesia.
Why does honey tend to blood?
Because of the enzyme activity. But without robbing the body of U and K, which causes internal bleeding, causes hemorrhaging. Coumadin causes massive problems to the liver and spleen.
So this rolling or fatigue during the day.
You need to take naps, that's all. You need to sleep more. That means you need to go into healing state. And 90% of the healing happens in the sleep state.
The other small ones are, one is...
You're only going to get one, because I flew around.
Random bad breath that I heard is a lack of enzyme in the back of the tongue. And I was just curious, the raw diet, I still have to do it.
It's all from the toxicity from your intestines. The gases go to the lung to the next step.
And Roger, what time?
Unless you have a dental problem.
Not a
That's all horrible. All the tests will prove that's inconsistent. You got lots of people with an alkaline mouth that have terrible. When I was around fruitarians, terrible breath because their teeth would rot like crazy. Everything was over alkaline urine, alkaline salivary glands, alkaline feces. You're not supposed to ever have an alkaline feces. You're not supposed to have alkaline urine. You're not supposed to have alkaline salivary glands. Everything should be acid. The only thing that should be on a good, even keel, that's not too acid and not too alkaline, is your blood.
But should we need something to counteract the gas?
You're enzyme deficient, and that's the honey. Honey, by itself.
Aajonus,
Do you have a question?
can we just, before you get into it, you're talking about cycles in the day, getting to sleep at a certain time, getting up at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you actually laid out the 24-hour clock for the body as to what's actually going on?
In the detoxification book.
Okay.
It
So
will
that's
be
covered.
available.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
next one. Do you have a question?
That's it.
Pardon? No? Okay, you have a question? Oh, yeah, I've already got you, Bonnie. Play it.
Okay. Well, I started polishing my teeth with the fermented coconut cream.
Yes.
Looks fine.
Good.
Yeah, really great.
Well, I suggest that you use, in the recipe book, I'd suggest as toothpaste using clay with butter or some other kind of fat. But when I started experimenting with the fermented coconut cream and clay, or fermented coconut cream and sparkling water, like in a water pick, man, it just cleans the plaque off wonderfully. Clay whitens the teeth.
Are you taking the coconut cream that I have, or just making your own?
I make my own.
Making your own.
I make
You
my
got
own.
some San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Right, and then how are you fermenting it? Just letting it be out?
I just put it in the jar and let it ferment.
Yeah.
How long?
Outside the refrigerator or inside the refrigerator?
Well, outside the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Didn't take long, you just sat and
No,
said,
2 days.
2 days, you just stick it in your bathroom, you put the toothbrush in and go, it was down. It'll last.
It'll last until it deteriorates.
That's right.
2 years or so
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
I had put the clay in there.
Yeah, just putting the.
I've got mineral water.
I just know that some people have reported back that if they're using the clay with it, it whitens their teeth.
What kind of clay would you use?
Terramin.
Recessed gums.
Not green clay?
Recessed gums is a long process. He's asking, what can we do to recess gums? Realize that almost 80% of the metals that you have, the free radicals, the heavy metals that you have in the body are in your brain. Because that's where most of the electromagnetic signals are transmitted. And it takes metallic minerals to do that. So every time you've eaten a cooked food, the free radicals, the heavy metals that had been chelated and were some kind of a nutrient, whether it was arsenic, lead, mercury, in very small amounts, it was all in the proper combination, it was a nutrient. Once it was cooked, it then became a free radical poison. 80% of it goes to the brain. When it detoxes out the gums, the tongue, and the salivary glands. Almost 2/3 of it goes that process out. That's why you should always have a coated tongue. So you've been on the diet maybe 30 years. And you will always have plaque on your teeth as long as the brain is detoxing. And the way to remove that plaque, best I just told you. So that will cause, those heavy metals as they come down and come out the gums, will cause a receding of gums. Nothing you can do about it. Except eat some cheese and try to get more of the heavy metals to go through the digestive tract instead of out your gums. But if you're using the coconut cream, it will help dissolve it and keep it from damage staying in the gums and irritating the gums and irritating your dentine. Now, it's not the bacteria that's the problem with decay. The heavy metals get onto the teeth, they cause enamel damage, then the bacteria results trying to get rid of the damaged dentine. So the first process is the poison metals that are coming from the brain. Use the clay or the coconut cream and clay, or just the coconut cream, and get it out of your mouth. If you've got the receding gums, get a water pick, lemon juice, the sparkling water, especially Gerolsteiner, and coconut cream, and shoot that in your gums. You do that every day for 10 days, you will clean that plaque so you don't have to have it sprayed. And it will keep your gums from deteriorating. In fact, your gums are good. It's not a live food. It's a chemical.
But all mixed together, the good, and the Gerolsteiner and the coconut cream,
it's all mixed together in the
so it's all mixable in water.
Yes.
How much you use of the clay?
Oh, let's say, when you're brushing your teeth with the clay, that you don't use in a water pick.
Right,
when you're doing the water pick,
green clay.
No, use the Terramin clay now.
Oh, it's better. You throw away the green clay.
Well, you can use that for out-of-body stuff, but not in the mouth.
Out of body.
Can you put
surface?
green clay in your juice?
Pardon?
Can you put green clay in your juice?
I suggest not. It's not as clean as the Terramin clay. And Jane sells the Terramin clay now. If you want to order it, you can go to www.terramin, Terramin.com.
Why is the green clay not considered good for your teeth?
It's okay for the teeth. It just doesn't whiten it like the Terramin does.
Where do you get the water pick?
Pardon?
Where do you get the water pick?
Rite Aid, any of those places. So, for the water pick, it's the Gerolsteiner water. Let's say you're using 1.5 to 2 cups of the Gerolsteiner water. You have a tablespoon of lemon juice. You can use a tablespoon of vinegar, also helps. And a tablespoon of the coconut cream, and shoot it in your teeth.
What about the seeds?
What kind of?
Hold on, one at a time.
I was concerned about the CO2 in the sparkling waters. Is there a problem?
It's not that kind, it's not a manufactured one. It's in the well.
Okay.
You came late, I talked about it earlier.
Sorry about that.
In one of those wells, they've got a water table and they've got a carbon table. And they shoot them both into the bottle at the same time. If you're having CO2 manufactured in the laboratory, like for Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, and all the diet sodas, that is toxic.
And
it even cause
the
headaches.
coding on the tongue, I remember reading, you were talking about antibiotics. Is that part of the scenario?
If the antibiotics are stored anywhere around here, will come out the tongue.
Regarding that toothpaste formula, are you saying we should no longer use regular cream to brush our teeth?
You can. I'm just giving you the most up-to-date best.
Aha.
Okay? Any fat. You can brush your teeth with any fat or any clay and fat. But I found that coconut cream dissolves everything better. Okay?
Right. So baking soda is just the
Baking soda is a chemical.
You won't see the formula for primal facial to brush your teeth with.
You can do that too. They say you can use any fat formula to brush your teeth.
One other thing, some people don't know about what kind of water pick to pick up in the store. There's different kinds, sizes. There's big size carrying, traveling, or
whatever size you're comfortable with.
what size is generally better?
I don't know. I've got one that's my bowl's about this big. And it's called water pick.
Yeah.
What stores carry it?
Everybody.
Rite Aid, any of those stores. Almost all department stores carry some too. Yeah.
Does the sulfur in well water react well with skin?
Sulfur in well water?
Yeah.
My well water is high in sulfur.
Is that good?
It's very good. Using my hot tub. It's very good.
I was saying friend talks made sulfur in they have well water for them in New York.
I don't drink it. It's
They
too heavy
shower
water.
with it.
Pardon?
They shower with it.
Yeah, I shower with my hot tub. It's soaking hot.
You said because once you can drink well water from Glen Ivy.
Yes, it's very high in sulfur, but I don't drink it often. When I used to go to Glen Ivy, I'd go every 6 weeks maybe.
You can't drink it every day?
You don't want to drink any water that's that high in concentrated minerals.
4 ounces, I thought, half a cup, you said you can have that every day.
Every day for how many days?
7 days a week I've been drinking it.
Well, I don't suggest that.
Drinking nutty.
What would you when you drink too much?
You start collecting minerals in your body. You start collecting.
Today, Kathy, you've detoxifying yourself. Oh my God.
But you've got enough weight, so it's okay.
I can do it every day.
Yeah, you can probably do it every day. For you, it would be fine. If you were as thin as she was, it'd be a real problem because it would demineralize you. But you eat enough fat, you're fine.
Norma.
Okay, I went on to paradise and they're just trying to put this all in one nutshell. So I'm experiencing hyperventilating.
Are you going to give me 20 questions?
Yeah. So just these symptoms, how do I minimize them?
If you're going to give me something that's that specific, it won't work here. Okay, you have to give me a question that needs to be answered in your mind on a general level, or this small specific answer. But if you're going to give me symptoms, a lot of symptoms, that doesn't work here.
No, you need to go to the office just to get an appointment.
That's what I was going to ask. How do I do that?
Call me at 310.
I left a message. I haven't gotten a return call.
I'm so far behind doing all this
I
travel.
got your other book. I'm waiting for
I'm
that.
180 emails behind. So if you want an email, it's going to be weeks before I get back to something emergency important.
Yes, she's dying, and I'm trying to help her. She's not able to receive anything properly. It's like the milk is making her ear drain. The colostrum is making her ear drain. I tried eggs. She has emphysema. So we need...
Just give her eggs by themselves. There's lots of eggs and honey and butter, just eggs and honey.
And how do I minimize my itching? That's the only thing starting to crave is my itching. Is milk causing that, aggravating that?
You need to add cream to your milk.
So always add cream or butter? Because I felt like...
Always add cream or butter to your milk. I do the same thing. I always add cream or butter to my milk.
because I don't feel like because I was told I had a liver by inclusion that my fat wasn't digested, it's like when I eat butter, I start to itch.
Well, you may be throwing off all those sugars that you got collected from being a fruitarian.
So just keep going.
Yeah. So you get the fat on you. When you get enough fat on you, the fat will start absorbing it and stop throwing it off to the skin and causing dryness of the skin.
Just keep doing it. And raw milk is okay.
Raw milk is wonderful.
It's not going to aggravate the candy.
It's not going to aggravate candy. It's going to help get rid of candy. But you've got to put added cream to it.
And no more than 5 days, because I've been fermenting everything. I thought that was good.
It's good, but not, if you're in the winter time and it takes 5 days to become kefir, that's fine. But in this heat, 2 days is usually all it
Yeah,
takes.
because mine looks all chunky.
That's too far.
Too far.
So that would be
1 day.
Now, if you have it chunky like that, you can blend it and it'll emulsify it again.
It would be fine.
It'll be fine. But it's better not to take it that far. Okay? Okay, Kathy.
Okay, now the question arises. I did that experiment with Aajonus. It was, I think, in March or something of the year, this year or something, at March, beginning of March, with the sea urchin. I was on it for 1 solid week. I had 5 ounces of good water, and I waited 15 minutes after, and I had a sea urchin. So within a whole day, I had 5 urchins every 5 hours. Okay.
5 ounces.
5 ounces of sea urchin every 5 hours for 7 days. And then I was making notes of all the different things I felt like tingling or slight pinch pain, type pinching or tingling or sensation in my fingers. But then 10 days later, I went up after the meat diet. I felt that my estrogen had increased. And that Sunday I got menstrual cramps. And what I was going to say is at 5:30 in the morning, I wiped myself, it was pink and white. And then 5:30 in the evening, I had a bright red of estrogen, which is estrogen, considered estrogen. I'd had a period for 5 years before that. And I had 1 left ovary removed. And they could, of course, when I had an ultrasound, there's no ovarian tissue to be found. So somewhere along ways, it had to work within ovarian gland somehow, combining with the urchin to bring out something as well as menstrual cramp and a sign of estrogen. So I'm going to do another experiment. Another experiment will be done in October, where I'll be on 2 weeks.
Kathy, they have no idea why you're saying all this.
Oh, okay.
Kathy is already in menopause. You've been in menopause eternally.
Since 1997.
Like 1997, she's been in menopause.
Yeah.
She wants to regain the ability to have a baby.
Well, I mean,
so she's doing these experiments.
I want to see what estrogen, I want to see that women do not also go through menopause. I want to see that there's an ovarian gland that's able to function, which people have said that they stop because the ovary runs out of eggs, which is a fallacy. I'm going to prove that since I had that 1-day experiment of 12 hours to show some sign, the next sign will be even stronger because I will be on a 2-week continuous period, 2 weeks of ingesting sea urchin, which will cost me $700 or $350 per week. So you got to gather. I mean, you got to all see that.
But Kathy, you cannot make that conclusion.
No, I know, but I mean, it was the beginning of something, of a change.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is, it was a change that nobody could answer for me. Of how could something work when something you say is not even there to show itself to begin to work.
Well, you have 1 ovary.
I know, but
no ovaries.
I know, but I'm saying that having the idea that even during surgery it worked, never after surgery, for a year. But I just wanted to see that these things can come about, even though you think you are in that state, what they call a state of menopause. That menopause is because of some reason in your body that it came about. It's a state that it came about.
All species, even healthy species, come to a point where they no longer procreate.
Well, I know that. Well, I'm just saying, but in the human body, it somehow could be different.
it should.
We are different.
We probably should be able to have children until we're 70, 75.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, as long as the men are able, I think the women have the ability as well, that we're not put in a special...
Well, take a look at the men now. They've got impotency.
I know. No,
so
but
they're
I'm
the same
trying
problem.
to say that the urchin, I must have...
Cialis and Viagra.
I'm trying to say is that the sea urchin has some kind of properties
Yes, it does.
that can change within our system many factors that we're not even yet aware of, that people haven't even tried on a day-by-day basis,
Okay.
on a concentrated day-to-day basis.
But I told you I did not want to talk about these experiments until we've done that a long time.
Okay. I wanted to bring that out because that was an answer to Bonnie's question that about menopause, that women
It's
don't
not
know.
it's a hypothesis. We don't know yet.
I know, but it's the beginning of...
Didn't I ask you? I told you if we do any experiments together, you don't talk about them until we're finished. Okay? Thank you. We're done. Do you have a question? 310-589-0589. Do not call me except at 7 to 9 in the mornings. Between 7 a.m. and 9 in the morning. Call me at any other time and I'm going to be upset.
That's right, yeah.
So call me between 7 and 9 a.m. only. I take unscheduled calls at that time and answer questions at that time. It's a minimum of 10 minutes, which is $20, and then every 5 minutes it goes up another $10.
These have really specific questions, but I was told that you can look at
Yes, that's a consult. You email me and ask me for consult information, I'll give it to you and you can call me separately.
Speaking about one thing.
Optimal@earthlink.net.
Where are you coming or
No, you come to me. Malvern.
I'm going to find out on Monday when the antlers will be coming this coming week.
You'll enjoy going to this place, Norma. Very pleasant up there.
It's in the mountains. But when you ask me for consult information, I'll also send you the direction. Next.
Have you ever looked into air cleaners? Are they effective at all?
Yes, they're very good. The HEPAs are, of course, the best. I used to use the Alpine when I didn't live in Malibu where the air is clean.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what about the ions?
The ions, when I did tests with those all through the 70s, they were all bad.
What about the
Because what happens if you're in the room, you have to understand that ions are bombarded. And what happens? They split molecules. And these are toxins that are split into finer particles that can be absorbed intracellularly. So when these are bombarding, they're going into your respiratory system, into your skin, everywhere. You're going to have one of those on, you have it on while you're not in the room. During the day, you put it in the bedroom, and at night, you put it in the living room or the other room while you're in the bedroom, close the door.
Is there anything that's useful in a car?
No, not if you're in it.
What about like the HEPA filter?
I've got a HEPA filter in my, in the cabinet of the car, and as the air circulates, it passes through that filter. But that's part of the equipment that I purchased on the car. And almost all, I think all cars have that option. Mine's a Prius Toyota. Did I hear somebody say? Oh,
Yeah, you just said it.
HEPA filter, air filter.
What about breathing ozone? Breathing ozone instead of ions?
Anytime you have ozone, it oxidizes fats.
Right.
It oxidizes fats, it causes them to become rancid. Not a good thing. Okay.
Manual and sterile.
Thank you.
Manual.
I smell good. And I didn't used to smell good. I didn't say that any way you want. I have...
Does that mean your nose works better, or you put out a good fragrance?
Nose works better.
My hearing and my sense of smell have improved. And my vision is slightly down.
Then you need to eat more red meat. You eat it with fish.
Okay.
Fish and red meat together.
Okay.
It's the only thing I found to affect vision. Oh, guess what? What? Remember in Appendix X of the first book, I had the epoxy that came out of the needle that used on my nose, and it caused the cancer to deteriorate almost half of my nose. Put a hole in my bone here, huge hole, and a hole here in the head, and leaked down in and scarred my eye. The cornea, 8 layers of scar tissue. The ophthalmologist said that I would have to have a transplant. That's the only way that it would ever improve. So I went to have my driver's license renewed in April. And I was able to read the chart. And I said, okay, I don't need my glasses anymore. And they said, oh no. You know, once you've had to wear glasses, you have to go to an optometrist. And he has to tell us that you don't have glaucoma and this is just a good day for you. So I went back to the optometrist, and she took a look, and she said, you only have 1 layer of scar tissue left. So you don't have to wear glasses anymore. So for driving, I never wore them anyway, but for driving, so I didn't have to wear them. So, you know, it's working. It's slow. It's been 8 years since that, but it's working. They improved. So it went from, after that, about 3 months after that cancer burn in the eye, my vision was 140/80, and now it's 20/40.
What foods did you say you used?
Red meat and fish.
You mean it was 2200 and now it's 2040?
Yeah, 20/40, yeah.
140/80 is blood pressure.
No, you've got 20 over, I don't remember what it was. Anyway, it's pretty high. 140 something.
That's right.
2140? No, the vision was bad on both sides.
Yeah, both sides.
Because 20, one of those, 20 and 20 means you have good long sight and good close vision. So mine was 140, 180 over 140. No.
So you were nearsighted and farsighted?
In this eye, it damaged both.
I see.
I couldn't read or see distance with this eye. It was one blur. Now I can almost see detail. Like I can tell, your eye there. I can see the outline of your glasses. Just slightly blurred now, but I can read your T-shirt.
That's what I am. Cheryl's turn.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Okay, the milkshakes that I'm taking twice a day. After 6 months now, I'm finding the one at night, right before
Too
sleep.
much.
I can't digest it.
Okay.
So
Then
just
don't
cut
have
out.
it.
Okay.
You could down 3 or 4 eggs.
Okay. Why is that? That all of a sudden it seems like I can't digest it.
Well, you probably have reached a level where it's just too much dairy for you.
Okay.
With everything else you're eating.
Okay.
Now, the Fulani tribe, they live 90% of raw dairy. That's almost all they eat. They'll maybe eat a cooked meat meal or a raw meat meal about once every 3 weeks.
Where did they live?
Pardon?
Where did they live?
In Africa. And they're rich. They're rich. The more cows they have, the richer, the greater their wealth. Fulani tribe. And but they don't have any problem. They never get sick of milk because that's their diet. But on this diet, you're eating, meat and all the other substances. You don't need that same inundation of dairy. But it's very helpful at first to do that. Okay, but if you start sucking down eggs at night, maybe chase it with a little honey and butter, you'll find yourself much more hungry. Oh, and again, I'm going to repeat that. Your body starves of protein after 5 hours. Do not go 5 hours without eating something. Egg, milk, something with protein in it, meat. So if you go to sleep and it takes you 15 minutes to go to sleep, you set your alarm for 5 hours and 15 minutes. You wake, you have a milkshake, in a small amount, or a couple of eggs, Rocky style, or some milk with a little cream and honey in it, and go right back to sleep. When people sleep through that 5-hour period, the red blood cells become cannibalistic. They eat each other. Highly toxic. That's why people wake up after 8 to 10 hours and they go for the coffee, because they can't move, because the blood is so acidic and toxic. So you wake up after 5 hours, eat something, and go back to sleep, right back to sleep. then you'll wake up with all kinds of energy. Let me give you an example. I go to Nevada City once a year to do lecture and workshops. Person who puts it on, one of the two people who put it on there, John Fox. Been going there 3 years at this point, at that point that it happened, which is 2 years ago. And he says, you know, I still have, I feel, you know, when I first saw him, he was like this. He was only 42 years old. Like this. Old man, chronic fatigue, slouching, weak, mainly a vegetarian at that point for a long time. And I put him on a diet. Here is 3 years later, strong, healthy, you know, robust, fine. But he says, 10, 11 o'clock before I feel any energy. I'm so sluggish in the morning. I said, are you waiting after 5 hours and eating something? No. I say it every time I go to those lectures. You know, and I tell people to do it. Read the book once a year, each book once a year. Go to one of my, you know, lectures at one of these places once a year. Hear it, because there's so much that there's just so much in the books and the lectures, there's no way you can absorb it. In 15 years, just keep doing it. Remind yourself. And he did it the next morning when I was there. He was as bright as a rabbit.
You know, I always walk away from these outlets with many more questions than when I started. And you're so busy. I mean, one reason I have the public is because I really wanted to create a community where some people can get together and we can kind of discuss some things, remind each other of what you're teaching us. Because being isolated, you know, there's so many things that I don't know and I'm not rewriting. And life changes every day for all of us.
And that's right, your diet may change every day. That's why you need to read books.
But not alone. We're not alone. You know?
If you want to put a group together, see how many people are in it.
Well, that's what I wanted to do. That's why I was passing around that legal pad that you saw in here. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, it was just so I could contact everybody and then we could get together in some sort of community where we can formulate direct, specific questions for you and pay you for your time on that.
That's fine. We can do it, you know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, depends on my time.
Or pay you once a month for a specific amount of time.
That's what I mean. You know, so many people and so much money.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like this: $25 a head. You have it for 2 hours.
Yeah, it has to be time effective money.
Absolutely. So if you get enough people together, we can do it.
The new book is fantastic. The new book is it's got little gems all the way through it. I mean,
it already had the gems.
Yeah.
Now it's even more packed.
That's right. It is absolutely great.
65 more pages.
What new book is this?
It's the rewrite of the original We Want to Live book. Because the original We Want to Live book went out of print. He sold all the copies, and by that point, he wanted to actually do some rewriting because he's discovered new things.
Roger, you have a question?
Yes, about vegetables, you said that salads aren't good.
Right.
What about tomatoes, avocados?
Tomatoes and avocados are not vegetables. You said something about vegetables not being good for us. What about avocados and tomatoes? Avocados and tomatoes are fruits. I say it in both books. They are fruits. Anything that is a produce of a plant is a fruit. Those are bland fruits.
What about carrots and beets?
Carrot is a fruit. That's a vegetable. Beet is a root. That's a vegetable. Anything that's a leaf stalk or root is a vegetable.
So you shouldn't eat beets or carrots?
Not unless it's just 2 tablespoons a day.
But avocados and tomatoes are fruits.
They're fruits. Cucumbers, fruits. Zucchinis, fruits. Melons are all fruit.
What about cherries?
Cherries are fruits.
So you can eat all you want?
No. Sweet fruits, no. Bland fruits, almost. Let's say cherry tomatoes, you can eat a lot of those.
What about tomatillos?
Tomatillos are great.
So the tomatoes you should eat a little bit greener rather than really bright.
It's broccoli. There won't be quite as much acid in it.
Ibrahim?
Yes.
You have a question?
For muscle fatigue, what was the reason for that?
Muscle fatigue, it depends on why it is. You can have uric acid that's stored in your system, unlikely unless you're a cooked meat eater. If you're a fruitarian, it's a mineral imbalance. If you're just on a normal diet, then...
But just in general, for example, yesterday I had to do a lot of exercise. So it's tired.
That's a lot of uric acid
I was just
collection.
What will help?
Any kind of mineral concentration, usually cream and milk, help relieve it in combination with pineapple. Or green banana with milk and honey. Always put honey in something like that. Concentrated minerals and enzymes help reduce pain. Okay?
Maybe you can tell us something about the osteoporosis that women have some trouble with generally. I suppose men have some trouble with it too, although that wasn't with them. Is this beneficial for them?
Well, the reason that there's more osteoporosis found in women is because women go to doctors more than men. So it's discovered. Most men do not go for bone density tests. The whole pharmaceutical industry loves women because they scare easily. They go to the doctor frequently. All they have to put out there is just a mind scare on TV. And a woman is going for a mammogram, which create 30% more breast cancer, according to the greatest specialists of cancer. 36% more breast cancer in the women who have mammograms. When you think about it, it's crushing the breast during a heavy dose of radiation. What's going to happen? You rupture tissue and you have to be radiated, so it's not going to heal. Of course, you're going to create a condition more for cancer. But that's the reason more women have osteoporosis. Signs of it is because they go to have it checked.
So the radiation that you get from the test for the
Very good. Radiation, an X-ray, stops reproduction of cells for a minimum of 6 months. That means no cellular division and no healing in that area. So if that part of the body has to heal, it has to rob live cells from somewhere else in the body, which is endometriosis. In its pure term. You know, doctors use endometriosis only if ovarian cells are used somewhere else in the body. But endometriosis is when any part of the body uses a cell from another area of the body. And that happens all the time in our society because people are so sick and not getting good nutrients. Yes?
What about the use of radiation?
I'll come back to your question in a minute.
What about the use of radiated iodine for testing the thyroid?
That's the worst you can do because iodine, the radioactive material, lives for 58,000 years. Are you going to outlive it? No way. You've got to get it out of the body.
Okay. And how do you do that?
Raspberries and coconut cream. We'll get radioactive iodine. To get barium out of the body, it has to be dark berries and coconut cream. Okay. So I talk about that in the book.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to your question. You were going to ask a more thorough question about osteoporosis.
Is this, can this be turned around?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You have to remember, I had cancer of the bone. They wanted to replace this femur joint because the bone was 50% dissolved. This shoulder, 30% dissolved. No pain. No pain. The joints completely restored. All the bones restored. It took me a long time. It took me 15 years.
Did you have to have a radiation test to see that it was restored? I mean, that's what they do with us. They send us to their tests.
You can have ultrasound. They do it in a swimming pool, and you have to find. UCLA has it, so you have to go to a doctor that's not going to X-ray. It can be done with an ultrasound in a swimming pool.
H. pylori and ulcers.
Pardon?
H. pylori and ulcers.
5 days after getting the trichinosis, they had no inflammatory bowel disease. And they were back 5 months later and asked me for more trichinosis.
Do they have
You have to understand that the pharmaceutical industry runs the medical profession. They want you to take medication. The doctors are ignorant parrots. And that's all they are. They're stupid parrots.
I mean, they must know something, don't they?
Well, very few of them. There are some bright ones. I've got 50 MDs on this diet.
Wow.
It's good for you.
50, well, I didn't do it. They came to me and I just put them on the diet. But there are 50 MDs on this diet that I know of.
Are they regular general practitioners?
Around the country.
There were all kinds of MDs, specialists of all sorts, and general practitioners.
My next question, on this list of doctors that told you
I can't give it out. They've asked me not to give it out, so
What's the code then?
but there's no reason to go to a doctor.
I don't know why. We're going there.
If you're asking me, no reason to ever go to a doctor unless you've broken a bone.
If you're leaving for
You want to
live
have
there?
reset, or lost your nose, or some part of the body you're going
Boy, they.
I know.
to put back together.
No, I don't think you'll find any other day.
Okay, I think we've done it.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody who didn't get a question, you two, well, you
Yeah.
had a question. Did you come up
Yes,
with
she
a
did.
question?
Yes, she asked a question, yes.
You asked a question?
Oh, that's okay. Well, being that I've never been on this diet, I'm kind of interested. Where would you begin? How would I start?
Read the book. Read the books.
The very first one, the original one. Is that okay?
The original is fine. But if you want to, start with the recipe book and wait for the new one to come out on August 26th. It's only a month away.
I mean, there's just like a list of foods. I mean, is there?
In the recipe book, it has everything listed, how to do the night, the time of day.
It won't be on the market until the 26th
Because you
of
always
August.
hear about milk and dairy products is causing phlegm.
Huh?
Phlegm's good. How do you think you expel the poisons through the mucous membranes without phlegm? Just think
Like
if you
the
put those
it's got a
poisons
lot
through
more
the mucous
information.
membranes without the phlegm, it would make ulcers in your mucous membrane.
Why do they say phlegm isn't good?
Because the doctors want you to take medication, the pharmaceutical houses want you to take medication. And a few guys like Arnold Ehret believed that mucus wasn't good. That was his thing. That he died a miserable, dry, nasty death. Dry out.
First book I ever read when I was 19 years old was Arnold Ehret's Mucusless Diet Healing System, and that's what convinced me to become a fruitarian. The first book I read at age 19, according to Health, was Arnold Ehret's Mucusless Diet Healing System, which convinced me to become a fruitarian.
Lots of damage.
Okay, Aajonus.
He was blacking out. He was having all kinds of disorders.
Aajonus.
Sugar disorders. He was so skinny. I mean, he was thinner than you, sweetheart. And he was dry, so dry skin. He would sugar out. He would just freak out. He was not a nice, healthy man. And, and ever try having sex without mucus? Is that any fun?
Not recently.
Can you imagine blowing your nose or breathing without mucus protecting the mucus membrane? You'd be dry and blistered. Mucus is so important.
I have a general question for everybody that you probably have a take on. What about sungazing?
What is that?
Sun gazing. I did it for 2 years, early in the morning, late at night. I didn't eat anything. I drank a little water during that period, and I wasted away to 96 pounds.
Well, we want to eat still. Can we have
Well,
both worlds?
I can't say that it's any good. I can't say that it's not beneficial. I can't say that it's beneficial, and I can't say it's not beneficial. And certainly I couldn't live off of it like people are
No,
claiming.
I don't want to do that. I want the best of both worlds.
But I think getting light into the eye is fine. If you're walking around and sunshine around, you're going to get plenty of light in the eye. You don't have to stare at the sun.
Forget about sun gazing. I like food.
Okay, what time is it, folks?
Okay, Aajonus. 2 things.
5 after 5?
Yeah, it's perfect. 2 things. One is I have a little bit of food in the car. I have eggs. I have some bison. I have some chicken. I've got coconut cream.
Not much else. I've got 2 gallons of super milk. The other thing is, I think briefly.
One of the milk.
Okay, briefly, we need to express, all of our what we're doing with what's going on with the lot. So if Aajonus wants to speak about it briefly, we can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the health department came over a week ago last Wednesday and wrote us up and is trying basically to control us. And of course, there's no way that we can, comply to their rules, because they're actually the way that they write all their rules and whatnot will not allow us to be in business because of all the foods that we have. So what we've done is we became a membership, which means that we, what it is that's what we're anyway. We're a group of people that are pooling our resources together to get foods that we can't find anywhere else. That's what we are. But now we had to officially post it as that. So it says private membership, no trespassing on the property, which means people like them are not allowed to come on the property unless they are members or invited in.
Or they have a warrant.
If
they get a warrant, they're in trouble, because if they get a warrant, they have to show signs that there's something illegal going on there. And I've notified the health department of our membership signing agreement, which means we want parasites in our food, we want bacteria in our food. I name certain bacteria, but say we're not limited to those. I say we do not want any antiseptic. Anywhere our food's cut, we do not want antiseptic on our appliances, any of our tools, anything. We do not want detergents or appliance or any kind of antiseptic near our food. So I spell all that out in the membership agreement that you have to sign. And that really rules out when I say we do not want any of the health department's safety rules, because they're not safety for us.
Now, their contention is that they were there, that we were there and we were serving the public. They never observed anybody, because that moment they came in 5 minutes before we opened on that Wednesday. So ever since then, there's been a person posted out there. There's signs up that says it's a private membership. You haven't noticed. That person will always be there. Please sign the membership form. That means that we've all become part of this. And I really don't feel that they're going to have any way with us. I just don't. We'll see. But ultimately, it could be a tremendous opportunity, if it does go to court, to have us set precedent that we can do this. So I view it as something positive and not negative.
Well, you can better believe that if you can have smoking clubs, you can have a raw food.
Are you going to charge a membership fee?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there will be a membership fee coming up in the next 2 months, because we have to have cards, plastic cards, with your names and a number put on it. So there's going to be a fee. There's going to be anywhere from a $20 to a $25 fee.
A year?
A year.
Yeah. It's nothing. That won't be much.
But that's nothing.
That's nothing.
As long as
most clubs are $100 and $200, $500 a year.
Most people are spending $150 there and saving $20 to $30 just on buying dairy if they had to go to Whole Foods.
Yeah, right.
Trust me.
Yeah. Because everything's cheaper at this thing. At our club. It's called, when I use the same company that I formed, the trust that I formed to get raw milk passed in Los Angeles County in California and beat the CDC, I called it Right to Choose Healthy Food. Right away. The government is good with that, especially the federal government, is putting a false name on something to say it's a good thing. So right away, I knew that was the old classic viewpoint. So when I took it, when I went to the Board of Supervisors and all the other political bodies that were out there, and Right to Choose Healthy Food said it right away. It made them think. Of course, everybody has the right to choose healthy food. Well, how do you feel food is healthy? So it got them to wake up. So I proved that raw milk never created an epidemic, that all epidemics were created by pasteurized dairy. And I proved it in all the reports. So all the fictions that the CDC, the FDA, the USDA, and all the health departments come up with, they're all fallacy. So that's in the last chapter of the recipe book. All the information about raw milk. If you want the complete report, you go to www.rawmilk.org and look for and click on the supplemental report in favor of raw milk. You'll download a 52-page document. 32 pages of the report on how raw milk has been nothing but good at universities and the doctors tested all over the world. And the pasteurized milk creates diabetes, arteriosclerosis, bone loss, osteoporosis, and all kinds of diseases. And all the epidemics came from pasteurized milk products, one of them involving 197,000 people. Why isn't pasteurized milk outlawed? So we're out of the water. So the name of the company is Right to Choose Healthy Foods, Rawsome Club.
Rawsome is awesome with an R in front of it.
Yes. RAWESONE.
Is there a website?
No website.
Not very soon. We are actually going to put one up eventually, because what this is going to give us the opportunity to do is what we've never been able to do so far, and that is we've all been under this worry that somebody's going to come and find us out, and this way when we have them back off, we'll never be able to make it legal. We're not going to change all their laws, but they're not going to want to. I don't think they're going to tangle with us. So as soon as they realize that, then I'm going to go out and post this information and put up a website so everybody knows where we are, and whoever wants to become a member can.
I can put membership only on our website. I mean, or any kind of LA membership.
We're not selling food on the website. We're just giving subscriptions for information.
That's it.
Will you ever be able to deliver the food, and you have to go out there?
You'll have to go to a certain place to get it. Because once you go on a public highway, that's public.
That's right. The health department's contention is that they are out there to protect the public. And what I said to them on the phone briefly was they were out there to protect the unaware public. The aware public knows that stuff that they're promoting makes them sick. It's the aware public that we know that makes this stuff, makes us well. So there's no way that we can comply with any of their rules or regulations.
And we won't.
And we don't want to.
Did they have any complaints?
Not yet, but trust me, we don't know what's going to happen, in the next period of time.
Did anybody from the public complain?
Now, yes, the one contention that they had, they said that the reason why they were there, the man wouldn't prove it to us, is that they had a complaint. So we're waiting to find out what this complaint is really all about. Okay?
They don't tell you.
Absolutely. And he also threatened and harassed our people when we asked him to leave because he was on private property. And not only did he not, but then he literally intimidated everybody, saying he was going to call the cops.
Oh, my. Now, see, if I had been there, I said, please call the cops. We need to remove you because you're trespassing. Without a warrant, you don't belong here. But see, they didn't know that, and I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either. I was on the phone with them. See, I found out 15 minutes before he came there. The universe is really wonderful. I should share the story with you. Sean, my driver, called me up and said the lady next door at the homeless place that feeds the homeless told him when he was in the alley at 11:45 on Wednesday morning, 2 weeks ago, that the health department had been trying to get into our lot since Monday. And I immediately hung up. I didn't even say hello to Sean after that. I hung up and I called Mary Jo and Joanne, told them to go into the office, and as I was explaining to them to post somebody at the front and the back door today because I hear this is about to happen. I was aware of what was going on. We're having this conversation. The Durian people are opening up the back gate, and in comes, with the Durian people, the health department guy who looks like a black version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he was asked to leave, and he refused to leave the property.
And there was posted no trespassing on the gate that he came through.
Wow.
So, when I wrote them a letter on Friday, I said, we're declining the hearing because you've got no grounds for legal hearing.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Trespass, we have grounds to file against you in the county. So if you want to harass us, come on. Because we've got something against you right now.
Oh, everybody said the same thing.
Illegally, you were asked to leave.
If they want to take this to court, they're going to have 400 to 500 people in court testifying, proving them that they're wrong.
Nothing to witness.
Making fools of them, That's right.